Welcome to MAPP Presents. My name is Ronnie Hayes. Let's talk The Walking Dead Q&A number 70 for the TV show. Yes, comic Q&As are coming. Chillax. I did a marathon of TV show Q&As to give you guys something over the holiday. It's either this or nothing. Don't forget, rules are in the description, and go down in the comments and thumb up the best questions that you want answered in the next Q&A. Aaron Wimmers. Do you think they will... Sorry, I'm getting right into this. Aaron Wimmers, do you think they will change the end of All Out War in the same way they changed, or rather tweaked, the end of the Governor story? It seems like that end was essential for the next part of the story, and I don't see them going another way. Yes, I do believe they're going to tweak the end of All Out War, because I believe in the comic, if you translated it directly to the show, it would be extremely underwhelming. It would be like, holy hell, they had this huge firefight, and then it died down, everything was kind of okay, and then, Negan and Rick come out, and they chit-chat, and boom, the war's over. I think it would have to be the huge firefight would lead into a battlefield defeat of Rick and Negan. They could do a one-on-one with the groups there, but I think they need to tweak it, because shit in a comic book doesn't have the same wow factor as shit in the show. Cedric Adams. Hey Ronnie, huge fan. Been following you a few seasons now. But anyway, on to the question. With Lori not receiving her comic death and Judith living, do you think now that pregnant Maggie? No, we actually talked about this in a previous Q&A. And then, although you did talk about Glenn then can go through the struggle Rick went through following the loss of his wife and child. No, I pretty much still mean the same thing I talked about. I think like 2 Q&As ago, I answered this exact question. So let's move right along here. Nightwing fan 9515. Which character would you like to see in a flashback or in a hallucination? And if you can add context, none. I'll be honest, I don't want any. Sometimes it works in the world of The Walking Dead, and sometimes it don't. But I don't want flashbacks and hallucinations to be a constant thing. So I'm going to say no one right now. Casey Lee. Hey Ronnie, how do you think Maggie will escape the lookout post? Will Glenn Enid play a role in helping her, or maybe some other Alexandrians? And thank you very much for the support and happy holidays. You put something in here. Anyway, you know what? I think it would be nice for them to come and help her in some way, but I also think it would be really awesome is at the same time they're doing that, Rick and them get into the battle, the gladiator battle, and Maggie doesn't only jump down to escape, but also to fight in that battle, even though she's wounded. I so desperately want to see that. Oh, I will be so disappointed if they skip that gladiator-style battle, There's so much potential with the story, with the comic book, man. Imagine them trapped in the house, and they can't run because somebody's injured. They have to stay and fight, or they'll die. Either way, you know what I mean? I love it. Anyway, Ozzy91. Do you think the rushing of Negan has anything to do with Chandler Riggs' age, or just fan peer pressure? You know what, I'll be honest, I think it has a little bit to do with both. Chandler Riggs not so much, because, like I said, I think he is the damage is done with him and his aging. With the fan peer pressure, man, I just feel like they're layering the show, which is a positive thing. I like that they're doing that. But it just feels like they're skimming some things, or skipping, I should say, or just not fleshing it out as much by like a half a season. Negan just feels like a half a season too early right now. So yeah, I would say I'm a little bit, right now, unless I get proven otherwise, I'm thinking AMC and the fandom had a little bit to do with Negan coming in the show soon. Because keep in mind, in the beginning of season 6, when they were first writing the story, Kirkman was, and I know a lot of people fall back on Kirkman's a troll. Well, I have studied the shit out of everything that man has said for, videos, and he doesn't troll hardly as much as people make it out to be. He'll say a complete joke, clearly a sarcastic joke, and people will take it serious. And they'll be like, oh my god, Robert Kirkman said this. And it's like, dude, he was joking. He was like, so joking. So when people say he trolls, he doesn't troll hardly as much as people say. But when he was interviewed when they were first writing season 6, and he's like, oh yeah, Negan's going to be in the show, absolutely, but he's not coming in until season 9. I believe there was a little bit of misleading there, but I do believe he firmly, at this time, I feel like he firmly believed Negan won't be coming until maybe 7 or 8-ish, and he just said 9 to give them some room. But I don't think he was trolling completely. I think he was giving them some room. But part of me does feel like maybe the peer pressure was a little much from the fandom, you know? Unless I'm shown differently, maybe an article or they come out and say they had this plan for a while. I don't know. I do got to look into some of the interviews and see what they have to say, and I might change my mind on that. 1983 ESMI. Do you think the way Rick's group is being introduced to the Saviors in the show is better than in the comics? I thought it was a little odd how in the comics Rick just signed on to fighting the Saviors after just getting to know the Hilltop, essentially fighting in their war. In the show, Daryl Abraham already have a run-in with them before they meet the Hilltop community, which in turn makes more sense for them to go to war with the Saviors because of the bad blood there's already there. Yes, I do believe that showing them early on like this fleshes them out. As long as, go back to Q&As and listen to what I have to say about that, that's how I would love it to come to play a role, nice and layered. But as far as the comic, we do have to understand that they were in one area, they went to another area where the Saviors patrol, and then boom, they run into the patrols. Now, Jesus led them to the Hilltop. Obviously, he took them on some safe roads. So when you look at the comic, it makes complete sense, because then when they go back, then they're in the patrols with with the Saviors and shit. So Jesus was obviously able to get them there without being spotted. On the way back, even if they took the similar path, it makes sense that they would run into the Saviors, because this is the Saviors' area that they patrol. So both make sense in a way, but I would prefer the one fleshed out more, and that's what it looks like they're doing on the show. So yeah, I do prefer the show more when it's fleshed out, you know? Alright, Cat Lemieux. What kind of relationship will Rick and Negan have on the TV series? Will it be based only on hate and disgust, or will they also feel admiration and respect for each other? I think more on hate and disgust, but then again, it all matters on what kind of Negan they're bringing to the show. But I'm gonna say hate and disgust. There could be some admiration. Hell yeah, when you have any leader sizing up another leader, there's got to be some form of admiration there, because they did it. They're leading, you know. Q&A number 2: Did the old government? I mean leader, not some weasel who, buys an army and just pays them off, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, your second question is, did the old government actually manage to evacuate some people in the beginning of the story? If yes, is it possible that we'll see a conflict between the people? Yeah, anything like that. You said a president as a walker. No, I think that is silly to show the president. First off, we don't know who the president is in the world of The Walking Dead, and second off, the president has been, wandering around aimlessly in his president suit, so identifiable they could go, holy shit, it's the president as a walker. No, leave all that shit out. As far as, people evacuating, yes, it looks like the evacuation centers was such a clustered mess that a lot of it is what you saw with the tents and FEMA camps and shit like that. But there's probably places where they did make it, and a few of them are alive, and they might enter the story later on. That's definitely possible. Trey Henry, who was your favorite villain so far in a TV series? You said yours is Gareth because of his philosophy and his charm. Yeah, Gareth was a good villain, even though it was a short villain. I'm going to have to go with the Governor, though, because there was just more there. Joe was good with the Claimers. Gareth was good. The Governor, we got more, though. And I am more of a Governor Season 4. I love the Governor Season 4. The Governor Season 3 had some really good moments with David Morrissey. Some of the dialogue, though, the dialogue itself, like that cringeworthy, Andrea's like, well, what's your real name? He's like, I never tell. And then she's like, you shouldn't say never. And then he slowly leans in. No. It's like, what? What? That's the best you got? Never say never? Never? Oh, fucking A. Fuck. Anyway, so I am going to pick the Governor. I like the Governor, but that has to do a lot with David Morrissey's charm and his acting. Big fan of David Morrissey. Erica Kovacs. Did I say that right? Do you think Glenn will kill a human being if they are a threat to Maggie and their baby? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've talked about Glenn before, and I think he just hasn't been in the position to kill someone yet. He's been in positions where murder is an option, but I don't think he's ever had his back against a wall where it's like, you kill this person or you don't make it out of this room alive. I don't believe they've ever fully, because if you look back, Glenn was definitely in positions where you're like, holy shit, was he about to kill that dude? He was, wasn't he? Especially when he was kidnapped and shit. Go back and watch some of that stuff. Anyway, so yes, I do think Glenn will kill if it means protecting Maggie and the baby. Nicholas Moss. Could the guy they call Wade be from a different group other than the Saviors? No, I don't even think that's possible at all. I understand what you're saying, but you have to think we have the Wolves and then we have the Saviors. To say he's completely different now would just be like, holy shit, another gang? Not only that, there's too much that they said that ties in to the Saviors. There's just too much. As far as he only wants ass that's willing, as far as kneeling down and everything else with Dwight, it has to be the Saviors. Just has to. I don't know why I immediately reach to shut off the camera. I don't know. I'm going to work on some more videos. The holidays coming up. I'm going to try to get as many of these up. This should be on one of the last days. I don't know. But I recorded all these back to back. So I'm going to be taking a lot of your new questions. So if you're asking and you're like, holy shit, my question's not being answered, I'm stockpiling them for after the holidays. So I will get them. Keep thumbing up the questions. I got to go make more videos. Give me your thoughts and opinions about some of these questions. How you feel about them, if you disagree or agree or have just any different random opinions. You know what to do down in that comment box. I'm out of here. Subscribe now.